You are watching Cold Fusion TV.
Hi, welcome to the first video under the new channel name, Cold Fusion. Right now, there's a lot of excitement surrounding Apple and the new iPhone 6s from the view of the consumer. But what if we looked at things a little bit differently? What about asking the questions concerning the bigger picture of Apple? What makes Apple so profitable? In this video, we'll find out exactly just how profitable Apple is and how they managed to do it. It truly is incredible when you find out just how much money Apple makes. Let's begin. So firstly, let's break down Apple's total income as a company before we move on to pure profits. Take a look at this graphic. It depicts Apple's revenue for the year 2014. As you can see, it is the iPhone that is by far the most profitable for Apple. Because of this fact, we'll focus mainly on the iPhone in this video. Let's look at some context. We need to know something very important here. Exactly how profitable is Apple compared to the rest of the smartphone players? It's well known that Apple doesn't sell as many phones as the other manufacturers. Less than 1 out of every 5 smartphones sold worldwide is an iPhone. Knowing this, you would think that their profits would be, at most, maybe 40% of all the profit made in the industry. But as it turns out, Apple doesn't just have the biggest slice of the profit pie, they might as well have the entire pie. How much of this pie then? 60%? 70%? 85%? Nope. According to the Wall Street Journal, Apple took in a staggering 92% of all profits earned by the top 8 smartphone manufacturers for the first quarter of 2015. These iPhone profit earnings were a large part of the $18 billion first quarter that made history. It was the highest quarterly profit by any public company ever. Contrary to popular belief, this profit dominance is actually a fairly new phenomenon. By contrast, in 2014, Apple only took 65% of this same pie. If we go back even further to 2007, when the iPhone was first released, Nokia held 66% of all the industry's profit. So to go from virtually nothing to 92% in 8 years is an incredible sweep of the market. So how is Apple making all of this money? These figures are such extreme profits for a company that only releases 2 phones at the same time once a year. The reason can mostly be summed up in 2 words: premium price. Apple is focused on the high-end premium market, selling their phones at a higher price to gain a wider profit margin. This, coupled with world-class branding, marketing, and functional simplicity, make for a deadly combination. It can be said that a lot of what makes the iPhone so profitable for Apple has more to do with the consumer's mind and what they perceive the iPhone as being, rather than the physical product itself. Apple's marketing genius puts forward ideas, promising dreams, creating a whole mental picture around the product, making it so much more than what it physically is. Apple's advertising and strong brand also makes iPhones a cultural icon and a status symbol. An iPhone is instantly recognizable and distinguished from the slew of Windows phones and Android phones out there. A consumer's desire to have a product that is synonymous with up-to-date culture is one of the reasons why people line up for days to buy a new iPhone around the time of release.
Okay, well, we're here in line for the iPhone 6, and this is our 18th day here.
We've been in line already for 15 days.
We've been here for 16 days.
I've been waiting for about a week.
So waiting outside of Apple stores in the US is one thing, but is this all there is to what makes Apple profitable? Maybe not. A very large part of Apple's sales come from international markets. Enter China.
Let's say China.
China, China, China. I have to have my China.
China, 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 China now. You know, China.
In December 2013, iPhones were sold through China Mobile, the world's largest mobile network. This boosted sales greatly, and by April of 2015, Apple was selling more phones in China than the US for the first time in history. It was a staggering 71% year-over-year growth. Incredibly, iPhones even outsold the local Chinese brand Xiaomi. As a side point, this is why investors got so scared when China's stock market started to taper in September of 2015, losing the company 5% of its share price at one stage. Regardless though, China has a huge part to play in Apple's success nowadays. Okay, so we're moving along nicely and we've learnt a bit so far, but before we get into the real guts of how Apple exactly makes such an insane profit, let's look at a marketplace strategy that enabled Apple to really boost sales. In late 2014, Apple unashamedly followed the crowd by launching its big screen iPhone 6 and 6 Plus devices. Before this, iPhone screen sizes maxed out at a mere 4 inches. The iPhone 6 and 6 Plus have seen the highest number of first-time Apple buyers since the original iPhone in 2007. To put this into perspective, Apple sold 34,000 iPhones every hour of every day in the final quarter of 2014. Android users, and specifically Note users, already knew that bigger screens were better since 2011, and those Apple sales figures don't lie. Okay, so that's all well and good, but let's move on to the grand finale. Mathematically and concretely, how exactly does Apple do it? Let's take this further. The one major piece of information we need is the following. How much does it cost to make an iPhone? IHS Technology estimates that the bill of materials for an iPhone 6 makes for a total cost of $227, and the iPhone 6 Plus costs about $242.50 to manufacture. This means that the 128GB 6 Plus has a 71% profit margin, or about $710 in profit per phone. Yep, for just one phone. Just let that sink in. As for the iPhone 6, it's still about $619 of profit per phone. We can expect similar prices for the recently released 6S and 6S Plus. Okay, so let's continue. Apple sold 184.2 million iPhones in the first 3 quarters of 2015. So let's take a look at the entire profit. Multiplying that $619 of profit by the almost 200 million iPhones sold, we come up with a number of around $114 billion. That number is almost meaningless to the human mind, so let's put that into context. That's more than the GDP of entire countries like Morocco or Oman, or the GDP of countries like Uruguay and Croatia combined, and that's not even for a full year of Apple's profits. But of course, this isn't the full story. Let's take a look at this official Apple earnings statement during the 12-month period of 2014. As we can see here, the cost of sales, total operating expenses, and provision for income taxes amounts to a monetary sum over $100 billion, making total profits of the iPhone in the range of about $20 billion. Imagine if you were a business that could make a $600 profit on just selling 1 unit of your product. You would probably be happy selling a few hundred of them. But hundreds of millions? It's just insane to think about. So, once you have all of this money in the bank, what do you do with it? Well, one thing that you can do is buy 36,000 acres of forest land. That's exactly what Apple did in April 2015. Their reasoning? To sustain and harvest the forest to provide packaging for all of their future products. The forest is about 2.5 times the size of Manhattan and is an attempt to address Apple's footprint. But that's not all. Apple has been investing heavily into renewable energy in recent years. The company's next headquarters will be run on 100% renewable energy. It's developing an $850 million solar farm in California, and the company wants all of its future stores and data centers to run on renewable energy too. You'll hear about all of this and more in my upcoming video, How Big is Apple? Finishing up, what are the conclusions? What can we draw from all of this? Apple, and specifically the iPhone, is the ideal business model for a profit machine. It's a product that doesn't cost all of that much to make, but yet can still be desirable and sold at a premium price. A price that is justified through exclusivity, ease of use, good engineering, and intelligent marketing. In the decades to come, we'll look back at Apple, and specifically the iPhone, as one of the corporate strategic wonders of our generation and all of history. It may just be harder to see because we're living in the midst of that wonder right now. Anyway, so that just about wraps up the video. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Please leave a comment about what you think about this. Are you shocked at Apple's profits, or did you know this stuff already? Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, or a thumbs down if you didn't. Subscribe to this channel if you're new, and I'll see you again soon for the next video. If you're new, you might also want to check out my last video on robotic consciousness. It'll be the first link in the description below. Hey guys, the Go-Go here. I just want to thank you for watching the whole way through that video. It's really actually interesting when you think about just how much money Apple makes. It's really got a lot to do with those wide profit margins and also that brand that really supports the drive for people to buy the phone. So moving on to other things, some of you would have noticed that I've actually changed the channel name now. It's actually called Fusion now. I've actually seen an uptick in subscribers just quite recently, so I'm not sure if that's just coincidental or if it's actually working straight away. So we'll have to wait and see about that, but that's quite interesting, I think. And something else, some of you might be happy to know that I'm filming this video on the front-facing camera of the Samsung Galaxy Note 5. So I've been hashing out my thoughts about it for the past 5 or so days since I got it. And yeah, I guess you guys will know more about that a bit later. Anyway, I think that's all I wanted to say. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you again soon for the next video. Cheers, have a good one.
Cold fusion. It's new thinking.